There are football matches, and then there are moments. Instances where the emotional weight is so heavy that the entire planet holds its breath. These are the sequences remembered long after the final whistle, the moments that define entire careers. Every single World Cup, regardless of where it is played, produces one match that captures the collective imagination of billions. In 2026, that pressure reaches a scale the sport has never attempted. More nations, more stadiums, and more fans than ever before. The tournament spans 3 countries, turning entire cities into football capitals. Airports overflow of colors from every corner of the globe. Families gather around their screens, streets fall silent at kickoff, and for 1 month, the scoreboard is all that matters. Tucked inside this massive schedule is one specific fixture. It is a game that feels less like a typical group stage match and more like the start of a different chapter for the sport. Norway against France. Erling Haaland against Kylian Mbappé. 2 players with contrasting journeys and styles, but chasing the same gold trophy. This is more than a struggle for points. It is the weight of national expectation and the race to claim the sport's most difficult crown. For 2 decades, football was defined by a duality: Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. They broke records that had stood for generations and divided fans into 2 global camps. But every era reaches its conclusion. As these figures step away, a vacancy has opened at the top of the sport. For years, the same 2 names have dominated the conversation about who fills that space: Kylian Mbappé and Erling Haaland. Their profiles are opposites. Mbappé possesses a speed that looks like he's floating across the grass. Haaland moves with a physical force that seems designed to break defenses. One was born to entertain, the other was born to destroy. Every weekend, their goals are compared, and their trophies are used as arguments in an ongoing debate over who will lead this generation. Up to this point, that battle has mostly happened in club football, on Champions League nights, and in domestic league races. But the World Cup has a different set of rules. Club football brings fame, but this stage provides a different kind of permanence. When you ask someone to name the greats, they don't point to a goal scored in October. They point to what happened when their nation needed them most. That is the challenge facing both men, though they start from different places. Mbappé already knows the feeling of lifting this trophy. He became a world champion before he turned 20. But winning twice puts a player in a different category of history. Haaland is chasing that missing piece. He has spent years breaking scoring records and silencing critics, yet his story lacks that one signature World Cup moment. Statistics are impressive, but they aren't a substitute for an unforgettable night on the biggest stage. Haaland's incredible rise has changed the way Norway views itself. For decades, the country watched the World Cup from home, their dreams ending before qualification was even finished. Now they have a striker who has turned the impossible into a realistic target. They are no longer just hoping to be there, they believe they can compete. This combination of French pedigree and Norwegian belief makes this matchup the most significant collision in the modern game. A game of this scale isn't won on kickoff. It is the result of years of preparation. For Haaland, that means a psychological obsession with defender habits, noticing which foot they prefer, or exactly when they hesitate. He isn't just looking for goals, he's looking for a weakness he can exploit. France counters this with a collective composure. Their squad has survived every kind of pressure and knows exactly how to manage elite strikers. And then there is Mbappé. He is the most feared player in open space, because even when defenders know what he wants to do, his acceleration often makes them irrelevant anyway. Norway faces a brutal tactical choice. If they sit deep, France's midfield will simply dictate the game. But if they press high to win the ball, they leave the exact kind of space Mbappé needs to end the match in seconds. France has their own problem. Haaland doesn't need a series of chances. He only needs a single cross, a loose ball, or one defender losing concentration for a split second. Against players of this caliber, perfection isn't the goal. It's the minimum requirement for survival. As kickoff approaches, the stadium falls into a rare silence. 90 minutes are about to determine how these 2 are remembered. Haaland and Mbappé look across the pitch, neither speaking, both aware that tonight could be the most important performance of their lives. The whistle echoes and the ball begins to roll. France starts with the patient control many expected, their passing rehearsed and deliberate. Norway remains disciplined, waiting for the moments where they can actually make an impact. Football is often a test of nerves, and every French attack is met with a Norwegian defense that refuses to blink. The first warning is a sudden Mbappé sprint. He turns a defender and strikes the ball so hard it rattles the post. The stadium holds its breath. France continues to press, but as the minutes pass without a goal, the psychological weight shifts. The favorites begin to wonder if they're wasting their chances. Then Norway launches their counter. Haaland sprints into open space, overpowers the French defense with a single touch, and strikes the ball with clinical power. Goal. Norway leads, and the stadium erupts as the tournament favorites find themselves trailing. It is a reminder that tactical control doesn't guarantee a result. Sometimes the game rewards the team that executes in a single, decisive moment. At halftime, the French dressing room is silent. They know one mistake has cost them everything so far. Their coach doesn't panic. He simply reminds them that true champions are defined by how they respond to being wounded. Norway, meanwhile, prepares for the most difficult 45 minutes of their lives. The second half is a different game. France presses with a new aggression until Mbappé finds a pocket of space and curls a finish into the bottom corner. 1-1. The match opens up into a frantic end-to-end battle where every mistake feels like it could be fatal. With 15 minutes left, France seems to have sealed it. A perfectly timed pass finds Mbappé, who scores again to make it 2-1. The crowd is convinced the comeback is complete. But Norway refuses to go away. In the 89th minute, a corner kick creates chaos in the French box. The ball falls to Haaland, who hammers it home for the equalizer. 2-2. Yet the drama isn't over. Deep in stoppage time, Mbappé breaks through one last time. He lifts the ball delicately over the charging goalkeeper. It floats through the air as time seems to freeze. And then the net moves. 3-2. The stadium descends into chaos as the final whistle blows. France has survived. Norway falls, but the result is only half the story. Nobody is leaving the stadium talking about the scoreline. They are talking about a rivalry that has just been elevated to a different level. This encounter marks the moment their names become permanently linked. We are entering a period where these two players will push each other toward their limits. People won't remember this night simply because France won. They will remember it as the night this rivalry became a part of football history. So we have to ask you, who do you believe will eventually be seen as the greatest of this generation? Erling Haaland or Kylian Mbappé? Let us know in the comments, because this debate is only just beginning.